Welcome into the Birds of the Roundtable. We are here to break down last Saturday. I think it was Saturday. I get so confused in the preseason when the games are every other day, but last Saturday's preseason game against the Ravens. We're going to preview the preseason game for Thursday night. So weird. Thursday night against the Browns, and we'll talk about everything that we saw. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host. It is Dives. Give him a follow on Twitter at Mr. Crockpot. Dives, how are you doing tonight?
Doing well, man. Lots of positives, a lot of fun takeaways to break down tonight. I'm not going to lie, for a meaningless preseason game, I really wanted that win to take down the Baltimore Ravens, but it is what it is. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, when you're putting your Pro Bowl quarterback in the late third quarter to make sure you win, you might have your priorities out of whack, but we'll get into it. Also joined by Ryan Reese. Give him a follow on Twitter at Philly Sports PSA. Ryan, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. Ready to talk a little birds. Loving what we saw on Saturday, and I'll be at the game on Thursday with my son for his birthday, so I can't wait to see that as well.
All right, awesome. Also joined by David. Give him a follow on Twitter at PHL Eagle News. Check out his written work at PhillyCoverCorner.com. David, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great. Just glad we're finally talking about a game after all these weeks.
Yeah, it's been far too long, but here we are, ready to dive into it. And I guess as we start off here, the best way to do it might be to look back at our player of the game predictions from last week. And let's come to a consensus here on who we think got the closest. There's no decision.
There's no question. There's no question on this one. My dumbass picked Oz for player of the game.
Yeah, so Ryan picked Trey Sermon, David picked Tanner McKee, I picked Nolan Smith, and Dibes picked Olamide Zaccheaus. So I would say we're probably going to give that one to David there for Tanner McKee's performance. Does anybody have a problem with that one?
Absolutely not.
No,
I think we'll go Tanner, Trey, Nolan, Oz.
Sounds about right.
Should we do like points and like add them up as the season goes?
We could do that. I like that.
So like David, you get 4 points or something like that?
Yeah.
I think it was 10, but yeah.
Well, if we're doing it that way, then I want to say that Nolan Smith's QB hit is more impressive than Trey Sermon's 2.3 yards per carry.
Also, his touchdown.
All right.
Well, Nolan Smith would have had a touchdown if they handed him the ball at the 1 yard line too.
Well, so would I too, but
I don't know about that one.
I don't know. I got strong legs.
Maybe with the first team OL, not that third team, but maybe.
Oh, well, yeah, you might be right on that one. First team, I got that.
All right. So let's get into got a couple comments here. What other team do we have joint practice with this year? It's the Browns and the Dolphins, right?
Should be the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think it's the Dolphins. On Facebook says, keep up the hard work, David. Shout out for David here. Okay, let's jump into our questions. We're going to start off with what are the top takeaways from the Eagles' performance against the Ravens? David, I'll let you lead us off here. Well, give me your top takeaway.
Well, I'll just say Tanner McKee since I won. I'm just going to start with him. but honestly, he was pretty impressive. He had looked pretty good in practices, like with his RPOs and his knowledge of the offense, but he didn't look anything like he did in the game. Like he didn't go downfield at all in his practices, but he did Saturday night. He also had a really sweet, I can't remember who he threw it to. He had a really nice back shoulder pass. I just can't remember who the recipient was. He had another 31-yarder to Nagata that was negated, but that sounds a little weird. But yeah, they got taken away from. It didn't count, but yeah, I mean, it was encouraging. I don't want to overreact. It was one preseason game, but he looked like he had an understanding of the offense, and I would say that Ian Book can probably find another job, another team, something. He's definitely not making the roster now, but But yeah, I was encouraged by him. I mean, it was that the greatest takeaway of the night? Probably not. But if they have found a backup quarterback for the next 3 years and 24, 5, and 6 that, is cost friendly, it would be a really big steal for Howie if it turns into being that.
Right. Yeah. Tanner McKee. I don't know about this comment that he'll be the backup by the end of the season. I think people are going a little crazy about a third string quarterback completing 50% of his passes in a preseason game. But he looked good, and he made some big time throws. That one of my favorite, there was a post route that he threw that he throws it before the window's open. He throws that with anticipation, which is a pretty tall order for a 6th round rookie in his first preseason game. So that translates. Like that's what's impressive more than anything, was that he was able to.
Stanford, smart guy.
Yeah.
He had a lot of poise. He had a lot of poise. He looked good.
Yeah. Okay. Mark on YouTube says it's the Colts that the Eagles do other joint practices with, which makes sense. Colts are the next preseason game. I was thinking it was the Dolphins for some reason. So, okay. Ryan, give me your top takeaway. What was your top takeaway from the game?
I thought the running game did very well. I did like what I saw out of Trey Sermon. But even seeing Swifty out there for, about 0.2 seconds, he still showed exactly why, he's been successful in this league. So I'm kind of excited to see a little bit more of him. What I would say the other takeaway is Tyler Steen. He's definitely a dude. He's definitely going to be a dude. May not know where he might end up, whether it's at right guard, right tackle eventually, who knows, when he might get that shot. But so far, so good. And he's certainly got a bevy of, all pros and just absolute, monsters at his position to learn from. So, and then he also has the best offensive line coach to learn from as well. So he's in great hands so far for what I saw.
Yeah, I thought he looked solid. The Eagles really put him through the paces. They had him at left tackle and right guard. They had him as the puller on several plays, getting out and using his athleticism. Like, it really felt like to me they wanted to test and see what he could do in live action. And I thought he did pretty good. I mean, he could do, like, he doesn't generate a ton of displacement when he meets guys as a puller, but he did pull into the right gaps and get his hands on the guys. So I would like to see that functional strength come up a little bit, but overall I was impressed with what I saw from Steen as well.
Yeah.
Okay, Dives, what about you?
I made a whole video on Tyler Steen. Every single snap, left tackle, right guard. If you want to go check it out, it's on the channel. I even cut it up of his best blocks. I thought he was sensational, especially his potential at tackle. Oh my gosh! Again, I don't want to overreact for one preseason game, but I'm going to cheat as I always do. And for me, I'm going to go. My top takeaway was DK McDonald, and that is the defensive backs coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, that was like one of the biggest concerns I had coming into this thing. And my goodness, I know it's one preseason game, but do we not talk enough about DK McDonald? This guy had his defensive backs ready, and that is an understatement. You look at this guy, he was hired as the assistant defensive backs coach back in 2021. He helped the Eagles finish with the #1 pass defense. Both starters, Bradbury and Darius Slay, were unbelievable last year. And on Saturday, you just saw them be all around amazing. Eli Ricks, 4 targets, 1 catch allowed, 7 yards, an interception, and a pass deflection. Sidney frickin' Brown was all around the football, leading the team in tackles. Kayvon Wallace, 5 tackles and a forced fumble, showing some pop. Mario Goodrich, 3 targets, 1 catch allowed for -1 yards and 2 pass deflections. And I thought Mekhi Garner was super underrated as well. So, like, top to bottom, I was overall really impressed. Even Keely Ringo showed something. He did get picked apart on that 1 touchdown, but it is what it is. But for me, it's this guy. Maybe we don't talk about him enough. Maybe he's the new Jeff Stoutland in a few years from now. But DK McDonald, man, I just want to give a shout out to that dude because he had his cornerbacks and safeties ready to play.
Yeah, that was one of the things that stuck out to me, really, was the safety position. Maybe it's not as bad as we thought. And again, it's one preseason game, but Reed Blankenship obviously didn't play. Reports have come out, he's picked Deshaun Watson off 3 times in 2 days of joint practices. So he's having a heck of a training camp. And then you have Sidney Brown leading the team in tackles, flying around everywhere. You've got Kevon Wallace played really well. Maybe safety is not as dire as we thought. Not to overreact to one preseason game, but I think it's worth mentioning that safety might not be that bad this year.
Yeah. Can I just say I'd love to set an over-under of how many times we're going to say it's just one preseason game.
What's your line? Give me the line.
I mean, it's got to be 70, right? I mean,
somebody get us a count.
Yeah, I think we're already at 10, so we're on a good pace.
Yeah. My big takeaway is Jalen Carter. Man, dude played 2 snaps, and it's like they put him out there, and on that first snap, he just destroyed Ben Cleveland.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Yep, we've seen enough. Get this guy off the field." And again, I'm not going to say it was just one preseason game. It was just one snap in a preseason game. But, I mean, it's encouraging that he dominated that, and then they just pulled him off the field. It's like nothing else they needed to see. So I think Jalen Carter maybe makes a big impact early this year if he can play like that. But it's just one preseason game.
Yeah.
And we didn't even mention Eli Pick Six Rick. I mean, what a debut for that guy, man. He'd been reports struggling all through camp, but man, when the lights came on, he came to work.
Pick Six Ricks is back, baby. Let's
Yeah.
go.
That was so good to see. Honestly, I was again watching this by myself, just freaking out when he picked that off, and then I had to literally look at myself in the mirror and be like, "It's preseason."
Yeah, he definitely had DB swag. He was showing off the whole way down there. He was loving this moment.
Yeah, no, it was good to see though.
I felt good for the dude. That's really what it was. That guy is a playmaker. Like literally the number 1 cornerback in 2020. If you were rewind a year ago, he was in my top 3 cornerbacks for the 2023 NFL draft. Then was in the doghouse for Alabama. Like I've just felt good for the dude to kind of get the monkey off his back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely went from being, a potential first-round pick to an undrafted guy, having to make a name for himself, and his first chance he gets, he shows out. I mean, again, what more could you ask for from an undrafted free agent rookie?
He was feeling it too. He refused the ball because he said he'll get plenty more interceptions in real games. So he didn't even want the damn ball. I couldn't believe it. That was pretty wild. Pretty confident guy.
There's a little bit of Jalen Hurts in that answer.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next question. Who were the players of the game against the Ravens? So, we've talked about some of these guys already, but we can go through it again here. Dibes, who do you think deserves player of the game for Week 1?
It was like David said. It was Tanner McKee for me. The dude had completed passes of 33, 19, 18, 17. That one that called back on Ngata, that was a 31-yarder. I love the way this guy pushes the ball downfield. He would finish 10 of 20, but that could have been even better. If you look at his numbers across all the top rookie quarterbacks like C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young and list goes on, he was better. And I know it's just one preseason game, Ryan, but I thought he looked really strong. So like you guys said, he's definitely worthy of developing as a third-string quarterback moving forward. I love the poise I saw. I love the confidence. Got to be Tanner McKee.
All right, Ryan, who do you have as player of the game?
It's just to be different. I mean, it definitely is deserved to go to McKee. I'm gonna go to Sidney Brown.
Nice.
I think he had a really, really good day. Again, I think we were coming into this, we were, worried about what was happening at safety. We're hoping that Reed Blankenship would be the guy. Seems like he is. Seems like he's already locked down a starter role. And we're kind of worrying about this other spot. And, we drafted, Brown in the middle of the draft. And again, he's been making plays in camp. And, comes out and leads the team in tackles, and you can just see the talent, the physical specimen that he is, and he was running around like a wild man with that hair, and yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was thoroughly enjoying watching him play some football. So,
all right, David, how about you?
I would have gone with Tanner, but it was just the safeties overall. Everything Ryan just mentioned about Sydney, I think Kayvon Wallace. I mean, he had that forced fumble that went out of bounds, but he was all over the field. And like you had mentioned at the top of the show, it's really just gotten to the point where you don't really think about the safety position as that big of a weakness right now. Again, it's not just that it's preseason. It's just seeming like it's translating over from the practices to the games. And it's the energy that they're playing with, and they seem to have an understanding of where they need to be. Even this was a very vanilla defense that they were playing, but they were all over the field and hustling, and it just looks like they have confidence. And it's something that you really haven't seen from that position until GJ got here, but something that wasn't there for a couple of years. So it's pretty encouraging just to see the overall safety play in general.
All right, are we doing the no repeats thing on this?
Yeah,
I think it seems like
it. Okay. Then I'll go Eli Ricks. Eli Ricks had the second highest PFF grade from preseason week 1, 96 PFF grade. It wasn't just the pick 6, although that's the splash play, and people probably don't talk about him as much if that pick 6 doesn't happen, but his coverage was really good. Like in some other reps, he had really good coverage. I thought he played really well. I still think it's a long shot he makes this roster, but I think he played really well, and hopefully the Eagles are able to get him onto a practice squad.
How do they hide him to get him onto a practice squad?
Right. Exactly. I feel like when it comes down to this roster, you're going to have a few guys like that where we're going to go, okay, maybe not for the 53, and maybe we can get him on the practice squad. But man, one, how do we hide him? How do we keep him? How does another team not steal him? Because I have a feeling 3, 4, maybe even more guys are going to be sought out from other teams for sure.
Yeah, It's time to break out Phantom IR.
Yeah.
Except then they can't practice all year, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, maybe you just tell him to like trip and fall down and give up a 70-yard touchdown next game. Like, hey man, we want you. It's going to be on our practice squad, but we want you to stay. Of course, if he was going to do that, he could just turn down signing with another team anyways, because that's always their choice. And that's possible. So, Darius Slay needs to take him under his wing and be like, listen, I'm old. You can take my spot next year.
It's
completely. Darius said he's playing 10 more years today.
To live or to play football?
To play. To play. I think the man's 32, my Lord.
My God. I don't know what the life expectancy in Oklahoma is, but my Lord.
I know what the football expectancy of cornerbacks is, and it's not 42. Unless he's going to position change to quarterback. I don't think he's playing 10 more years. But
he's taking reps at wideout. He's going to play some wide receiver this year.
Yeah. Playing both ways, that's certainly a way to
elongate
your career, not make it shorter.
So do y'all think Eli has leapfrogged Mekhi Garner just from that one performance?
I don't know yet. I think it's too early. I think
he was really good too, to be honest.
I loved him. I thought he did great, and he kind of reminded me. Are they wearing the same number as Kaiser White? Does he have the same numbers he did last year? Because he almost looked like him running around there. He's kind of big. He looked like a safety. He looked like a linebacker. I mean, he's all over the place. He had a forced fumble too. I was really impressed with him. In fact, when we did our projections at the beginning, I still think if they keep 7 corners, he's going to be one of the 7 that they keep. And I know everybody's fighting for Eli Ricks after the first game, but I'd have to see that a few more times before I personally would leapfrog him onto the 53. I just don't see it yet.
There's so much youth across this defensive line and defensive back room, man. It's crazy. The depth is nuts.
Let's talk corners for a second. So you're obviously keeping Slay, Bradbury, Maddox. That's 3.
Yep.
Is Zach McPherson's a lock, right?
He's got to be a lock.
That's 4. I feel like Josh Jobe is also a lock. Is that
and
y'all
Huey.
read as well? Yeah,
Keely
so that
Ringo.
gives you 5, and Keely Ringo is 6.
Yeah, they're a lot.
I can't imagine you keeping 7 corners. But if you do
Unless-
keep 7 corners, then
Unless
you're
they
looking
make
at
Garner. That's why I have Garner making it. Unless he's like a hybrid safety corner kind of guy that they can stash on there.
They could just mold Keely right now for that star spot or something like that.
yeah. But yeah,
I don't even think he's taking reps at that though. He's
I
just
don't think so either.
straight outside corner reps.
if you do keep 7, then it's Eli Ricks, it's Mekhi Gardner, Greedy Williams, although I think he's got a no shot to make this roster.
Agreed.
It's just such a deep that play before halftime drove me crazy. And it's a preseason game, and it doesn't matter. But you're a veteran player. The play that set up the Justin Tucker field goal.
Right.
No timeouts left. Ball's completed in bounds. He goes for a big hit, like trying to dislodge the ball. You want him to catch that ball and drag him down in bounds. It ends the half. You don't want to knock it out. And it's such a stupid play for a veteran player to make. Maybe a first-year rookie is too amped up trying to make a big play or whatever. That should never happen. And he breaks the tackle, gets out of bounds, boom, Justin Tucker hits a 60-yard field goal or whatever it was, because Justin Tucker is amazing. But that's like, you can't make those mistakes when there's young guys behind you that are playing this well. I think it's very telling that Greedy Williams was in there playing right before halftime and into the third quarter.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Agreed.
Comment on YouTube, they should have them be able to play safety and slot. I'm not sure who that's referring to. So drop us another comment. Let us know who you're talking
I
about.
think he's talking to everybody.
Garner and Rick, probably.
Cross train everybody.
Yeah. Okay, let's roll on. Let's close the book on that game. Let's talk about the Cleveland Browns now here. Ryan, I'm going to throw it to you first. Who are the top players to watch against the Browns?
Honestly, I want to see more Jalen Carter. I have been so excited hearing about what he's been doing to Joel Bitonio in these joint practices. I mean, this guy is an all-pro guard, and he literally is pancaking him. He is smacking him on his back, and he is getting to Deshaun Watson. He is getting the sacks. He's getting the pressures. It has just been Jalen Carter week against the Browns, and I want to see him in there for more than 1.5 plays or whatever it was. Really, I want to see him out there, and I want to see him get to Watson or whoever might be out there and bring down a quarterback. I got to see it. I got to see it this week.
Yeah, I need to. I'm trying to pull my screen up here and share something with you. This is a tweet that I sent out a few days ago. I've been going through ranking all of the positions, like the top 10 at every position. So Joel Bitonio, who I ranked the second best guard in the NFL, has just been destroyed by Jalen Carter this week. So this isn't just, like you said, it's not just some vet guard.
Right.
Like, I ranked him as the second best guard in the league, and Jalen Carter's been stealing his lunch money in these joint practices.
So exciting.
Crazy.
So exciting.
Crazy, man.
All right, David, what about you? Who's the top guy that you can't wait to watch in this game?
I want to see Kenny Gainwell just because we didn't get to see him last week. So I'm just wanting to see him out there, just see what he's doing in the passing game, if they're even going to show any of that. But I just like to see him out there, see him healthy, see what he looks like. But mainly Reed Blankenship, because he's another guy who just didn't get out there, and he's had such a great 2 practices against them, and I want to see how it goes over to the preseason games. See if there's still any animosity between everybody like there was today when they had a couple of flare-ups with Sidney Brown doing, I guess they took exception to the way he had a late hit, so an O-lineman took him out. And then, of course, our boy Derek Barnett came in to keep the fire going as well. But mainly Gainwell and Blankenship, just because we haven't seen them. So I just want to see where they're at so far this season.
Do we have any indication about starters playing in this game?
I saw where they said Gainwell was going to play. I'm not 100% on Blankenship, but I'm assuming he is.
If they're going to play, it's this game.
Yeah, exactly. Now that we're down to 3 preseason games, the second game seems to be the one where the starters would play the most. So again, I mean, if you're going by last year, the starters didn't really play a whole bunch. so it's kind of hard to tell how much they'll get out there. And Sirianni doesn't really seem to be too keen on giving out that information. Certainly not this early, but I'd like to see them at least for a series or two. Most of them anyway. I mean, there's a couple people that honestly I couldn't care less if Jalen Hurts got out there. In fact, I don't even want him anywhere near preseason. Tanner McKee can play the whole damn game for all I care. But I'd still like to see some of the younger starters get out there and get some good reps.
All right. I'm forgetting who I already asked. Dibes, I think I haven't asked you yet. Who's your top player to watch against the Browns?
I was going to go Jalen Carter for everything Ryan already said. That's the number one. Like, this guy getting more snaps. Cannot wait. Words cannot express. Words cannot express how excited I am to watch that dude play. Let's see. I'll go Cam Jurgens. We haven't seen him yet. I'm excited to see how he looks getting to that second level, using that athleticism along with Jason Kelsey. That has so much potential from everything. He's more than held his own. So Cam Jurgens is one, and then the other, it's got to be Nakobe Dean. We haven't seen him yet either. I know he's coming back from an ankle injury, right? So for me, Nakobe Dean, how he looks, holding up his own against the run, dropping back into coverage for whatever snaps he plays. I want to see that he looks like he belongs because we're banking on him big time.
Yeah. I'm just going to go with Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown was my guy, and I thought he played really well. I want to see him continue to play well, stack good performances, and I want to see him flying around the field and making tackles and being a playmaker that I think he can be for this Eagles defense. That swagger you talked about, like the Eagles haven't had that at the safety position until like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And I think Sidney Brown showed some of that this last week, and I want to see him continue to do that. So Sidney Brown is the guy that I'm really looking forward to just seeing more of him on the field.
Yeah, agreed, man. He was everywhere, man. I love the way he plays, man. He's one of those guys. He puts his head down, no regrets, and doesn't care. He's gonna probably miss a lot of tackles. He's probably gonna hurt us at one point, but it's all good because he's gonna also he's gonna pop someone as well. So it's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah. All right, top matchups to watch between the Eagles and the Browns. Dives, why don't you lead us off here?
I kind of alluded to it, but for me, it's got to be Tanner McKee versus this combination of quarterbacks that we have seen so far. Deshaun Watson, if he plays at all. And then DTR was a guy that I was really high on last draft process. I wanted the Eagles to draft him. I'm kind of like biting my words now that Tanner McKee looks like he belongs. But DTR was a guy that I was super high on. Two dual threat guys there for Cleveland. He's definitely going to test out Nakobe Dean and his athleticism and mostly his IQ. Like Nakobe Dean's football IQ and instincts are off the charts. I want to see that, the speed of the game. How do I phrase that? I want to see that Nakobe Dean has adjusted to the speed of the NFL and that he's reacting naturally and his quickness is on display. So for me, Nakobe Dean.
All right. David, how about you?
I agree with everything Doug said. I'm looking forward to watching how the defense plays against DTR. I mean, they should have some experience against defending a running quarterback like that, but I am curious to see it. But I'd also wanted to see the Cleveland tight ends versus all of the Eagles linebackers. Not just Dean, but all of them. I mean, Morrow, Ellis, Cunningham, Jack. I mean, we really haven't seen much out of any of them. And if Dean is not the guy who's going to defend the pass, I don't know who they have that's going to do it. There is so much riding on him. Almost everyone else is a pretty good run stopper, but if you look at their pass defense, it's been pretty horrid. Even Cunningham and Jack have not really been the best in recent years in doing that. So I kind of agree with everything Doug said. I think the most interesting part of the night is Nakobe Dean and any of the other linebackers who attempt to go on this role. I would say Christian Ellis just to be different because I'm expecting them to do that more than the other guys.
All right. What about you, Ryan?
I'm going to be looking for Tyler Steen versus the Cleveland pass rush. No matter where Steen ends up lining up, whether it's at guard or tackle. But yeah, I want to see him continue, have another great game, and again, that'll really help kind of solidify my thoughts on him already. Kind of like what we saw last year. We had a young player come in, and we were a little confused about whether he was going to be coming in and, as a baller or not, and sure enough, he did. And Steen so far, one game, one decent performance. So we'll see it again and build on it.
Yeah. For me, it's this comment right here, Nolan Smith. I want to see more Nolan Smith. I know he had a really good rep against the left tackle where he dipped the shoulder and got right by him and hit the quarterback. He also had a rep early that was atrocious in run defense where he lost contain and gave up a big run, kind of a welcome to the NFL moment, if you will. So I want to see more of Nolan Smith. He had some good moves. He wasn't able to necessarily get home as much, but his reps were good. So I want to see him more. I would like to see him dropping into coverage a little bit too, because if the Eagles linebackers turn out to be really awful, just put the athletic guy out there on the field and let him play coverage too. I don't care at this point. I just want to see Nolan Smith on the field. So I'm anxious to watch him rush the passer and hopefully play a little bit in coverage as well this weekend, or not this weekend, I guess I should say Thursday.
Yeah, 2 days.
Fran Dunphy literally just tweeted out a video of Nolan Smith against the Ravens. That play.
Yep, the shoulder dip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was awesome. That was his best rep in the game, I thought. Okay, let's roll on to player of the game predictions. Always hard in the preseason because we don't even know who's going to play, but here we go. David, you won last time, so I guess we let you now to make you go last. You get last pick this time. Dibes, throw it to you. Your guy came in last time, so give us your player of the game prediction this week. Who's it going to be?
Player of the game prediction. I'm glad because I'm going to go with the hype train. That is Jalen Carter. I'm going to just roll the dice and hope everything we have read about going down at the joint practices, Jalen Carter owning the Cleveland Browns O-line. So Jalen Carter, I want to see at least a few series from this guy. And if we do, man, maybe we get a couple sacks. Jalen Carter for me.
All right, Ryan, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go a little different here. I'm going to say Keely Ringo. I want to see a redemption game. I mean, again, he didn't play terrible, but again, you have those moments, especially on that touchdown where he didn't look great. So yeah, I want to see him kind of redeem himself. Really get himself into the mix and. Yeah, realize that he's a player and he's going to be on this roster. So let's show it out.
All right, that brings me up, and I mean I'm not going to let Ryan or David get Tanner McKee again. So I guess I'll go Tanner McKee here.
Nice.
He's going to look really good, sandwiched between Marcus Mariota, who won't throw the football, and Ian Book, who won't throw the football. So you put that on David's line though.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, David, who is your player of the game prediction?
Since I can't take Tanner, I'm going to go with his favorite target, Tyree Cleveland.
Nice. Good pick.
Especially with Quez dealing with the hamstring, he's not going to play. I think the wide receivers is something we probably should have talked about a little bit more, but outside of AJ and Devontae, I don't know who the bottom of that, if they're carrying 5, I don't know who the 4 and 5 guy are anymore. I used to think Nagata was a shoe-in. A lot of people are clamoring for Greg Ward. Johnny King has looked pretty good, but I'll go Tyree Cleveland for 6 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown.
Wow. That's a big, tall order. And Dibes, you got to switch David and Shane.
What? Did I write? Oh, man.
Yeah. I assume one of you guys would take Tanner McKee before it got to me, and I was going to pick Greg Ward because He's too good to play in the preseason against third stringers. He's not good enough to. He's not good enough to be on your roster, but he's going to demolish guys in the preseason, just like he did last week.
There you go. Good old Greggy Ward.
All right. Well, there you guys have it. That is our player of the game predictions for Thursday night's game at 7:30, the Eagles against the Browns. And I think that's about it for this show. Does anybody else have any hot topic here they want to throw out before we get out of here?
Should we be concerned at all about Marcus Mariota?
No.
No? No one's concerned?
One preseason game.
Yes.
Say it 53 more times.
I'm not. Are you concerned about it?
No, you should never see the field anyway, so who cares?
He looked good running. That's all he'll do anyway. So, no, I'm not concerned at all.
I guess.
At the end of the day, he was 7 of 11 passing. He rushed for 29 yards, didn't turn the ball over. I mean, this team's talented enough to win. If he has to play a few games, they're talented enough to win as long as he doesn't turn the ball over. So,
yeah. Also, final thought, like, even if they do play, even if it's just for one series, the Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, I know it's a chalk response, but, like, those two have been lighting it up all camp, joint practices. I'm excited to see, maybe we'll get that McNabb to T.O. moment first play or something like that, because everything I've read is Hurts has been finding A.J. Brown in the end zone quite a bit. Yeah. So that'd be fun.
Imagine Sirianni tells the starters they're going to play one series, and then the first play of the game is an 80-yard touchdown pass to A.J. Brown, and the starters are like, really?
I'm good with that.
I'm real good with that. I'm real good with that. Get them out.
I don't even want him in to begin with, but that would
I know. I really don't.
So,
yep.
We got a comment on YouTube. McKee is greater than Mariota. That hype train is way out of control for a guy that completed 50% of his passes. But it's one preseason game. We need like a sound bite for that. Okay. That is going to about wrap it up for this preseason week 1 review, preseason week 2 preview. These shows will get a little longer as we get into real action in the regular season, but I want to get you guys something. This is our podcasting preseason too. We're taking a few reps, so we'll be ready when the live bullets start flying in a few weeks. But before we get out of here, we'll throw it around the horn. David, I'll throw it to you first. Plug your stuff. Let us know what you got going on, and give us any final thoughts you have.
You can read everything at Philly Cover Corner. I tried to give all you guys a shout out earlier today, trying to spread the love here and get all the content out there, because a lot of y'all content is new to me as well. I was familiar with all three of you, but not everything that you guys do. So the more I watch it, the more impressed I am with everything you guys have done. So I've been, trying to get that out there as well. The final other thought about the game is I'm just looking to see the bottom of the roster spots, like running back and wide receiver. I don't think there's that many battles left, but I think there are a few that are pretty interesting. And I don't think that you're going to see the results of that in the third preseason game. I agree with what Ryan said. This is the game that some people are going to win or lose jobs. They don't do the cut downs like they used to back in the day. It's mainly done all at one time, but this is still when it's going to be determined. So I'm excited to see, who rises to the occasion. All
right. Be sure you go check out David's work at phillycovercorner.com. Give him a follow on Twitter at PHLEagleNews. Ryan, you're up. The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, David, I did see that. Thank you very much. That was very nice of you, your tweet earlier today. So, but yes, honestly, we're having fun. It's one preseason game. We're probably under right now, but if you give me a few minutes, I might raise the bar here. But no, you're right. Second preseason game is really kind of where you see a lot from the people that are going to be at the bottom third of this roster.
Agreed.
I know, right? Hey, tune in next week. So I'm looking forward to kind of, again, seeing those last couple of roster spots that I am curious to figure out in my head. So I'll be down there. I'm excited. It's the annual birthday preseason game with my son. So that's always a fun thing to look forward to every single year. So he's only 7, not quite ready for prime time Philly Eagle fans just yet. So We'll get him there one day. But yeah, I'm excited. We're a month away from real games, and yeah, it's I cannot wait. I cannot wait to be out there tailgating down there at the link, celebrating with my Eagles family. So can't wait.
All right. Dibes, floor is yours.
Again, if you love draft content, I put all of my videos into shorts, and they're dropping literally every 4 hours throughout the week until Sunday. So go check that out. We are starting the BGN radio show right after this, talking top 5 Eagles targets, our kind of my guys for the way too early my guys for the 2024 NFL draft. I joined Bleeding Burgundy and Gold. It's a Washington Commanders podcast last night. Go check that out. Just mainly just Eagles versus Commanders preview. That was a lot of fun. And that's about it. Happy early birthday to your son, Ryan. And I'm excited. There's a lot of hype right now for this Eagles season, man. It's going to be a fun ride, and it's going to be a blast. So hopefully I get the W this week.
And you can all join us in hoping that Dibes does not get the W this week. So. We don't care who wins as long as it's not Dibes.
Really? Okay. It's like
you stacked up too many wins and draft shows and stuff against me. It's just always against you now.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Yeah. Be sure you check out Dibes' content. Follow him on Twitter at Mr. Crockpot. Check out all of his draft stuff on Edge of Philly Sports. His camera just disappeared, but now it's back. Right. As for me, Dibes mentioned BGN radio show. It's a recording, not a live airing. It'll probably come out sometime tomorrow, but we're going to record that right after this. And then you can join Mark and I at 9:30. We're going to do a live preview episode for the AFC East and West. So I did the North and South last week. Mark and I are going to do the East and West this week. It's an off-season recap, regular season preview for each of those 8 teams. We'll do the same for the NFC over the next 2 weeks. Also, if you're interested in testing your mettle against guys like us, I created an NFL pick'em pool that you can join for free. I tweeted the link out yesterday. I also threw it in my link tree, so you don't have to sort back through the tweets. Just click the link tree on my profile. It's the top link on there. Totally free. There's no prizes other than bragging rights, but you can come do weekly NFL picks against us. I did that last year with about a dozen people, and it was a lot of fun. I won, just saying. So you guys come knock me off my throne this year. It's always fun to do that stuff with you guys. So, yeah. And that is going to wrap it up for this episode of Birds of the Roundtable. Thank you guys that joined in live here in the chat. It's always more fun being able to interact with you guys live. For those of you watching later on archive, we go live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. So try to join us if you can. If not, it'll always be there. We do try to check the YouTube comments and stuff as well. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. We will see you guys next Tuesday night at 8 p.m. to review the victory over the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns victory. That wasn't going to sound right. To review the victory over the Cleveland Browns, and we'll get ready for the Colts game. So I'm going to get out of here. We will catch you guys next week.